Why is the jury laughing?
Zero chance of winning the game.
Supposed to talk glamour to you.
My grandmother's sitting home watching Jerry Springer.
Lee, is there any way I could have your jacket?
This is my island!
Welcome back to Survivor Breakfast after yet another double skip week here on the episode with the boys. We're talking Survivor Season 45, Episode 7, correct? Episode 7. We had a pretty big episode this week. 2 people safe from the vote. 2 people went home tonight. Unfortunately, we lost Caleb and Sifu. Boys, what are your initial thoughts on the episode this week? And if you want to make a comment about last week's episode too, happy to.
Yeah, sorry for the lapse. We've had both technical difficulties and unfortunately some scheduling conflicts. But Caleb, I was hoping, fingers crossed, as my winner pick, was propelled from last week's intense drama. But yet he hits a snag, and I'm sure we're gonna dive deep into the optionality in terms of what he could have done tonight. And I don't know if you guys saw the preview of next week, but the institution or the thought of a girls' alliance has now entered the picture, which makes a lot of sense for the girls, moving forward. Now, if Katurah had that in her mind going into the vote tonight, I don't know, because otherwise I don't really understand her logic other than being a little upset tonight. But that's my main takeaway.
Yeah. Toasty?
I think that's a good point. I was going to say that obviously last week, great episode. Caleb playing the shot in the dark successfully. I mean, it has been played successfully before, but this is the one where it counted. First time that it actually matters, and it blocked out some votes. I think that, truth be told, coming back from having every single person vote for you, like including Emily in the case of Caleb, and like to handle it with the amount of grace that he had coming back into camp is like really, really tough. And I think it's like, I mean, it really goes to show they voted him out for a reason. He is really, really socially adept. All the more reason why he needed to go, which is sad, but that's the beauty of the game, right? Like that is why Survivor's so complicated and so hard to maneuver. I think that there are plenty of people who would come back and be pissed and do something wrong. Like he handled it with such grace, and he just took it as a compliment, which it was, by the way. It was a compliment. And I really thought he did his best in this episode to try to get out of it, and it didn't work out. Now, Sifu, on the other hand, I want to say that Sifu, this episode, was the most authentic that Sifu has been this entire game. I looked at his confessional. I'm watching his confessional. He seems actually genuine. In tribal council, before the vote, he actually seems genuine and likable. I wish he was like that the whole time. I think he's just was playing an inauthentic character, and when he did come out as like a real human, he was actually like kind of interesting to watch. And I was like kind of,
it came out of the blue,
out of nowhere.
Even his confessional previous to tribal. And listen,
that's what I said. Yeah.
Listen, you've through a couple of our podcasts, you've taken, I wouldn't say the word is offense, but you've taken, you haven't been particularly fond of the front that he's been potentially putting out there. Yeah, I mean he just might live this way in his life. I don't necessarily like the word of it being unauthentic. I don't know. This might just be who he is, but clearly
that would be authentic. I don't think he's being authentic. I think he's being something he's not on the show.
No, I understand that. That's your feeling on it. I'm saying he might be authentically unlikable because clearly he was struggling to connect.
Like Bruce, I think is authentically unlikable.
No, but I'm being honest with you. Bruce is connecting on a level Sifu has not connected with anybody. Like Bruce is still there's still
Bruce is
value
everything
Kelly is
authentic.
preaching in Bruce. Sifu, I can't tell you one person that wanted to work with Sifu the entire season.
Yeah, but Kelly doesn't want to work with Sifu. I mean, with Bruce, she just knows that he's a vote for her. You know what I mean?
Sim, I don't know if I
said
saw
he's
one
definitely
person
forgetting.
wanting to actually do some type of strategy with Sifu.
Well, I
Nobody.
think the problem too is that, like, sure, Sifu and Bruce are both annoying people, but at least Bruce you can predict, right? You know he's not changing his mind. He's stubborn. Like, once he says he's gonna go do something, he's gonna go do it.
Yeah, but
Whereas Sifu, like, who knows what he's doing?
But
My-
people are
but
actively
my-
working with Bruce, is what Kayla's
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yes, I agree.
It was almost as
See-
if Sifu was an enigma that just floated around the
He
island
was just floating.
and nobody really liked him.
I don't think he was particularly trying very hard to work with. Like, it never seemed like he ever reached out to anybody else either. Really,
Then what was he doing is the question. Just
he was playing air guitar
Begs the
and
question.
doing Tai Chi. I think that's what he was
That's-
doing.
But he also, it
Listen.
seemed like, wanted to become like some sort of character and like be like
That's-
sort of
that's-
angle for like a
that's
fan
the pitch.
favorite.
That's the pitch you're making, and I gotta say that there's probably some merit to it because I don't really quite understand
Yeah.
what else was
It
going
didn't
on.
work. It didn't work for me. I would rather have his genuine self.
I don't know that he was, from my position, Toast. I agree with everything you're saying. I don't think he's being authentic, in this game. But I got my read on it was that he is just a particularly awkward person, and like uses this character
As a defense mechanism.
Yeah, as a way to try to like cover up that uncomfortableness or awkwardness in social situations. I think he probably does this in real life too. Like, I don't think that like this is like a show only thing for Sifu.
Well, that's
no,
all
no.
spec, right? Like that's all
Yeah,
speculation. We have no way of.
that's my read. Is that like I've met people who are also weird like that, who are just covering up for awkwardness.
Yeah, that's Kale is one of them. You're talking to one. Kale, look at him. Look at him over there. No,
Listen.
I take that back fully.
No, listen, it's interesting because he's a bit of a case study because it doesn't quite.
He's a
doesn't
one-man
quite-
show.
It
Yeah.
doesn't quite make any sense. It almost came out of the blue because they were from the jump of the episode painting this Bruce picture that it was almost one of those classic, like, he's been talked about so much that he's he's going home tonight is it Sim? Was it been your take that you think Bruce is going to the end?
I can't remember what I said. I mean, I would personally love to have him in my final three if I'm in the final three.
I'm telling you, the amount of I mean, his edit is horrendous. From
I don't want him on the jury either because like he's just not going
well,
to.
I mean, he's one or the other, but he's getting so much FaceTime. I mean, tonight's episode was a classic. Let's talk
Yeah.
about him as much as possible because he's getting voted out tonight. Like that's
And he wasn't. And
he
he wasn't
wasn't.
voted out. So what does that
and
tell
that's
you?
why the Sifu thing came out of nowhere, which I appreciated because it added to the drama of the situation. Although I think you guys probably agree that it was probably leaning towards Sifu the closer we got.
Yeah, for
but-
sure.
Yeah, Sifu was a bit of a case study, but in all honesty,
Well-
it's probably not the worst thing that we lost him at this point.
Okay. Sorry, Toast. You can go.
No,
I didn't-
no, it's okay. I was going to talk more about Bruce, but if you want to talk about,
I do want to talk about Bruce and just this vote more in general. Something that I was thinking about during this is if I'm Kelly and Kendra and I'm like really kind of considering, do I want Bruce? Do I want to vote out Sifu? Why not like give Bruce some weird vibes, just flush the idol, and still vote Sifu, and then Bruce is like, "Oh, I feel bad. They actually were telling me the truth. I feel
Who
bad."
to do that?
Like Kendra and Kelly.
I think Kelly wants she portrayed she wants that idol still in the back pocket.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't really get that then.
I missed that too, though, because I think that would be a pretty decent idea.
I think it's good.
Bruce is a better shield.
Bruce more dependent on you.
Bruce is a
Yeah.
better shield if it's now spreading like wildfire that his idol is out and about, he's a better shield to continue to throw out there if people are talking about his idol as well.
But I feel like you get most of that from one, just people wanting to vote him in general, and also like once he plays the idol, if he did get some votes, which I don't know if he would have in that case. I'd have to think about it. But like then it's like, oh, he played an idol, and like you can kind of fake some threat level even though it doesn't really matter. If he nulled out some votes, I don't know. I just feel like if I'm Kelly, I'm keeping Bruce in the game because he's somebody who's stuck with me. You know what I mean?
100%. If you're Kelly, you're keeping Bruce as is, I think.
And if he loses his idol, he's now more dependent on me.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have the independence.
I think you keep Bruce 1,000,000%. You
100%.
try to render him,
but I think you flush the idol.
You try to render him like the idol from 41. Why am I forgetting his name? Xander's idol. Yeah. You try to render,
which is crazy. What they did to Xander's idol, just taking all power away from it. Just basically saying, yeah, it only is a thing if we vote for you, and we're just not going to vote for you.
Yes,
no
exactly.
And that's
like that was the biggest downfall of the Beware advantage. But here's another case in point where Bruce's idol is now becoming more and more well known. I think close to 75% of people know he has an idol. If they can do the same thing, and Kelly can ride that wave where it's still being talked about and she's shielded from behind, get the threats out when they need to get out right before final tribal, and it's Bruce, useless Bruce, at sitting there.
No use Bruce.
No
use Bruce. Yeah. No use Bruce.
That pushed some Survivor merch.
Well, so just to segue off of that point, I think that like one thing that I find interesting about Bruce, because he is an interesting person to talk about, is that it seems like the viewer's perspective and the player's perspective of Bruce is somewhat not coincident, right? They're not really. So meaning Kelly is talking to Kendra on the beach saying, oh, like Bruce is great to have because he's such a threat. No one wants to bring him to the end. Now, is that like gameplay talk? Is that like a genuine read on Bruce in the moment?
She said.
She said that. She's like, he's a great.
I thought he's a great shield because people just want to vote him out because he sucks.
Nobody wants to go to the end with him. No one's going to go to the end with him. I think they mean to say that he's going to occupy one of the votes that they would otherwise occupy themselves. So let's keep him in the game so that we'll have someone to get rid of after, as like a threat.
I thought she was framing it not as like he's a threat to win the game. I thought she was framing it as like he's a good shield.
So the phrasing was,
but Simi,
Kelly verbatim said, "No one is going to take him to the end of the game."
Yes. What does that? What does that tell you?
That tells it's poor phrasing because
I think she means that like he's so annoying that nobody will take him to the end. That he's like
I think she's saying it that he's so annoying that he will get voted off at some point. That's how I'm reading.
Is what Simi is saying too. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I.
All right.
How are you reading?
Not as like, oh, I don't want him sitting with me at the end because he's a threat.
Well, what I don't know. It's always been phrased in that way that like, oh, no one's taking him to the end.
I agree. I agree with you, Toast. That's why I'm confused though, because I don't.
But then
is that why you said this? Is that why you said this?
It's confusing. I brought it up because it's confusing.
What we think about him.
Well, I don't know.
This is similar-ish, not the same type of person to the Lindsay situation that we were having, where everybody saw her as a massive threat. And said they wouldn't take. Then the phrasing was, "We can't sit next to her." Yet we're, as the viewer, saying, "Where's this Lindsay threat coming from?"
Exactly.
I don't quite understand it.
So I'm saying that it could be either way. I want to agree with you guys that I'm hoping that the read is that Bruce is so annoying that we're going to get rid of him. No one's going to go. No one can withstand this alliance till the end. No one can see this alliance through. Or could it be that Bruce is genuinely orchestrating things on this island and people are viewing it as notches in his belt that they would then have to go up against? I'm not sure. It's a little bit ambiguous to me.
I think more likely toast if it's not what that he's so annoying that we can't stand him staying around longer. I think the more likely scenario is just another version of the Katora situation where, Katora's like, oh, they're falling for it, but like nobody is. But it could be the same situation with Kelly potentially. I don't know.
Yeah,
Are they falling for it?
I made note. I made note of when Kelly said it in the episode because I was particularly confused behind the logic behind it. To me, it's someone Kelly would like to take fully to the end.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I think Kelly should ride the Bruce train as long as it goes.
Yes, and run Kelly December 2023 Survivor 45 slogan. No use Bruce.
No use Bruce. That's her running mate.
Regardless, I love Kelly's gameplay this episode. I mean, she continues to impress me.
I agree.
Kelly's up there.
Like,
Kelly's up there.
nobody even considers putting her on the chopping block. Everyone's like,
not yet.
And they listen to her. She has social capital. She like what she says like kind of has sway over the people that are around her.
All right, listen.
We don't need to do this now. We'll save it till the end.
Well, no. I'm gonna insert this now so I can lay claim because Caleb's gone. So I'm gonna make my mid-season switch immediately
to the person that I've been saying the entire game.
No, not Kelly. Can't do that.
Okay,
can't do that.
all right, can't do that.
Okay.
I thought he was about to say something.
No. I'm jumping the gun a bit, but I need to lay claim before Simi potentially jumps in. I don't think he will.
Emily.
My new winner pick is D.
Okay.
Wow.
My new winner pick.
I disagree with that, but that's fine. Kale always goes for like the strong-willed women.
That's good.
That start with the letter D.
Yes. Yes. You've got a type. You've got a survivor type. Well, I want to hear why though. You can't just throw that out and not.
It's somewhat edit bait. This is the same rhetoric that was used tonight post immunity challenge. What was the rhetoric that D used tonight when she was being asked about why she was crying or tearing up by Jeff? Does anybody recall?
It seems like you do.
You don't recall?
Like strong women like winning stuff and being.
No, she said I thought about the American dream. I thought about my family. Now this was the same rhetoric used.
Those letters. It's about survival.
No, this was the same exact rhetoric in a confessional she gave immediately after Sean quit. Same exact rhetoric that was. She said, "I cannot conceive of quitting because I think of my family and how much I mean to be out here and how much this means not only the experience but the potential windfall that comes from winning."
This is a deep edit read right now, just so we know. Like this is coming from like someone who puts me down for my edit reads. And this is a deep one. This one cuts deep.
Kale's meta corner. It's been really
does it check out?
I think that what you're saying makes sense because what they want to show with D juxtaposing the decision that Sean made was Sean bad, D good.
Well.
Therefore,
candidly, it could just go as far as that, and she doesn't win the game. So I hope it's just not that.
Yeah.
I hope it's more than.
There's
that.
more to it. I know. But
yeah.
Still.
I mean, listen. I do think she's the other piece of it too, from an edit standpoint, that you've always pioneered is it was D's. Again, I'm using this word a lot tonight. It's D's rhetoric or discussion in the confessional tonight. Caleb's gone. Bye bye. What'd she say? Bye bye bye.
It's a classic toast. It's like I want him gone. Now he's gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is.
So listen. I mean, the narrative switched here. Maybe I'm fully edit based here, but I got to latch on to something.
You have to. Sometimes you got to.
Sometimes
D's my winner pick, but candidly, they're still think there's some big players out there, and I do think the Emily narrative is heavily there as well. I know that you were going to potentially point that out, Sam, but
I think. Well, I was just going to say, I really do think. I know this has been a rough season with the 2 quits and I don't think it could ever be a great season after stuff like that. But we've got some really good players left in the game. Like, D is a really great player. Kelly is a really great player. Drew and Austin, I think, are both really great players. Like, I think we've got Emily, even at this point, like you said, it still has a great story behind her, and like, you know, it remains to be seen if she could turn it around socially, if she's ever going to have some like really tight alliances, like, you know, she kind of needs to at some point. But like, there's so many good players left in the game, and that does.
How many do we have left?
For where we are,
10?
We have 10 left. It makes me happy because, you know, in the last few seasons, we've had scenarios where we're like, all of the good players are going to be gone by 6. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's going to be the case. This
Well,
season.
we'll table. I do want to pose the 0% question like we do later. But let's just jump into the secondary. I mean, is there any other conversation? I mean, I
Which one are we?
I think it was a smart play by Kelly to keep Bruce 1,000,000%.
Yes.
Kendra's another player that we are forgetting in conversation.
Kendra, I think, should want to get rid of Bruce.
No, I don't. I for the same reason Kelly should be keeping. Well, unless Bruce is gonna go. Unless Bruce is going to go out there, disparaging her name, that's a problem.
Yeah. And then also getting rid of Bruce makes now Kelly more dependent on you as an alliance, right? Like if you.
Yeah, but I don't even know where
that's why
Kendra
Kelly,
has been.
That's why Kelly wins this interaction. I'm sorry, because really it is not in Kendra's best interest to keep Bruce around. And Kendra.
That's fine, but
could have done something
Kendra's flip-flopping like no other. Kendra's flip-flopping like no other. It's the same thing that Katurah. I'll jump to the 0%ers right now. Both
Katurah.
those two 0%ers.
Yeah.
Kendra as well.
I think Kendra's playing. I think Kendra's vote tonight. I mean, not Kendra's vote. Sorry, Katurah's vote tonight.
Yeah, I want to talk about this as like a full length thing. Should we talk about that now?
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
we're jumping here and there.
Fully an emotional decision.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. I think that when she said that, like, he has no choice, so he has to do this. But she was like, it's kind of like 6 of one, half dozen of another. Like, she's just finding out from Caleb that her whole alliance, or what she thought was her whole alliance, was keeping stuff from her. And then her response was to punish him for giving that information and throw her lot in with a group that has never worked with her. I understand she's in a bad position, but this is actually an opportunity for you to build trust with somebody. Yeah, they're backed into a corner, but it is something that you can use to facilitate trust building and move forward in the game from a different angle. But instead, she basically just let herself be used as a pawn for the votes of the Reba crew, and then now has less agency than she did before the vote happened. So in my mind, I don't know if this was Katurah just kind of not really like fully seeing the big picture, her just being emotionally charged in what happened, finding out that she doesn't really have a strong alliance, and like it being broken to her very fresh, and she now has to make a decision and she just happened to make the wrong one, or is it truly that she just didn't see this as a bad move? I don't really know.
No, you have to lean to the former, that it was emotionally charged. I mean, from day one,
she has been
from day one. The Bruce situation has been plaguing her thought process the entire way through.
Emotional,
and a lot of that is emotionally charged, because if you can segment it, juxtaposed completely to what Caleb did going through this father-son conversation that Bruce was trying to have early in the episode tonight, that seemed miserable. That seemed
cool.
Seemed absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of evident that Katurah, unfortunately, tends to ride the wave of however she's kind of feeling in the moment. And otherwise, that's why I posed the question on the onset of starting this podcast tonight, because the female alliance is the only reason that potentially Katurah can logically undo what she did tonight. But if she was somewhat thinking about that, but I don't think she was, because I wasn't until they said it in the preview. So
look, I think this is just a case. No, she was not thinking of that. There's no way. this is a case of somebody throwing away a weak alliance for no alliance. This is saying, I don't have a good thing, so I'm going to give myself nothing, and not thinking of the
great line.
consequences of I have nothing left.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, I don't know how you could think that this is a better outcome than, oh, I might as well build some alliance, or at the very least, even if you decide I'm never trusting Caleb and Jake and Bruce ever again, at the very least, you've now given this group evidence, some data to say, hey, if you give me something, I'll vote your way, right? You gave me some information, I vote your way.
It's working relationship.
Nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do business deals together.
Yeah. Yes.
But now instead what you've done is you've taught, at the very least, Jake, and now Jake's going to tell Bruce, which you didn't want to work with in the first place, but now both of these people are poisoned against you to say, oh, she can't be reasoned with. That's it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just thinking through this.
It's pretty damning.
I'm thinking through this right. I'm thinking through this right now.
Bad decision.
I'm thinking through this right now. You titled this discussion tonight. Is there anything he could have done? Are you referencing Caleb in this?
I tried to keep it open. Is it Caleb?
Listen, if the vagueness leans Caleb and Jake in this scenario, could they have won the night and swayed Katurah if they purely came out and said, when we get back next week, next tribal, we will vote out Bruce with you?
No, okay. Here, interesting. I wasn't thinking about that.
A quid pro quo.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the Bruce factor is why she was upset. One, with them telling her and like going through all this.
She's like, you worked with Bruce.
Yes, I think she had some hope that they maybe weren't going to, but she knows that they're loosely tied to Bruce, and she said, fuck it, this is now a Reba all red. I'll just vote with the red and completely write the line in the sand, and now I will definitely not be a part of Bruce anymore. But if they came out and they said, listen, we don't want to be a part of Bruce,
we know what you want.
Really want
to. We know what you want. We know what you want, Katurah. You want Bruce out. We will deliver that to you next week.
Tell me. I still think that her switch of the final push for her to make this swap tonight was a lingering Bruce thought in her head. That's what I think.
I think potentially. Well, here's the thing:
Bruce found the idol. They all knew about it. That may have been in her brain. I'm sorry to cut you off, saying Bruce told you guys to keep this secret. You're still aligned and you're still leaning Bruce. I can't take it anymore. You're gone.
I think that definitely is a part of it, and I wasn't even really thinking about that because when I was watching, what I was thinking was like, oh, you had her until Jake said something. Like Caleb had her.
Well, she did that on purpose. She quizzed him like a bit on purpose.
Yeah, I have like a little bit of an idea about how to maybe do this. Like, instead of being like very outright, which Simi, I think there's value to that. Like, here's this information, and now you can show me that you can deal with it, and meaning like Katurah saying like, oh, thank you for the information, I'll give you something in return. Very transactional. If they had just gone about it and might have said like, if Caleb was like, okay, like, I know I have you and Jake, we're fine, I think we should vote for Julie. Like, let's start thinking about what we're going to do when we're back at the next beach. Like, I've been meaning to tell you, the second before we left the beach, Bruce found an idol. I haven't had a chance to get away from him. We're finally on a beach without him. Like, let's talk this through.
That's not true, though. That's not true.
But if you could
this has been a number of days. Yeah.
I know, but if you could do it like, we're not on the same beach as him right now. He's been watching me every step of the way. He's been anti-me. I have this information I've been dying to share with you, and just almost make it seem like, hey, this is something that I haven't been withholding for no reason. I have a reason to tell you. Here it is. As opposed to being like, hey, I have this information. I have nowhere else to turn. Use it, and maybe you can use me, or just take the information for free. I can't really hold you to it.
Not like, hey, we're in a business together. It's like, hey, I've really wanted to tell you this.
Exactly. Bruce has been on me since I got back. He's afraid when I talk to people. I couldn't have done it, but he found an idol. I've been meaning to talk to you about it. We got to figure out how to get him out when we get back. I don't know. It's more than a 0%, which this was.
I think Kale's idea though. I think Kale's thing has merit because I think as soon as she heard the ring thing, she was like, "Oh, you not only did you keep a secret, but you
lied. Yeah, you lied.
You actively deceived."
Well, no. So
the ring
to
was
deduct
bad.
to deduct this further,
ring was
they candidly probably shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Because this was all on the logic. This was all on the logic and on the back of them thinking Austin's gonna tell her something.
Honestly, I think they could have gotten Austin if they had just gone and talked to Austin. To be totally real with you, because like Austin was already talking to D about like, oh, your threat level's high. Maybe we,
But why would Austin do that?
Well, you talking about when Austin said, "Let's try to keep Caleb." You said.
Yeah.
I think he had a good point.
Yeah, Yeah, I did too.
I think he had a good point.
I
I
think
thought it was a smart way to think. I think it benefited himself more than it benefited D.
And you have to think about it. You have to think about it this way too.
More than D.
You have
because Caleb is more of a shield to Austin than Caleb is to D. I think Caleb is a shield to D in the sense that it's just a vote that you'll get later on down the line. But I think if you're looking apples to apples, they kind of follow the same sort of person.
Here's the logic. Everybody's talking about getting rid of D's saying, listen, no one's going to be upset with us if we get rid of Caleb. Caleb is who everybody wanted out last week, right?
Yeah.
From Austin's perspective, he and Drew have two combined advantages. And yes, they don't know what Caleb may or may not have from an advantage standpoint, although they kind of know because he had to play. He doesn't have a shot in the dark, and clearly, if he's using a shot in the dark last week, he doesn't have anything better than that. So, like,
and he gave them an advantage.
Austin's got to be viewing Caleb as a shield that he can one up because he has an advantage. Or he likely has more as a better level of advantage play to Caleb.
He's in a weakened state too, is what you're saying. He's like a shell of what he like.
Exactly.
He's scary
so how
on
much
the
power?
outside, but he's not really a threat.
He's scary from.
But we can
with
get him
what?
whenever.
That he's super social. But as long as everybody's touch and go with him, what is that social game going?
It's much easier to vote for him once you voted for him once, so we can gather the troops whenever.
Exactly.
Well, and then not only that, like, if you start doing stuff like this, like, hey, let's keep him around because he's a shield. When you get to the end, if he's with you, now it's not like, oh, you got here because your social game's so good. It's like, well, you got here because we kept you around as a shield. So that it starts to take some weapons away from Caleb's arsenal as well. If you start talking like that, to keep him around.
Listen, I just want to talk. I want to talk about this because I wasn't thinking about it until now, and and it really does behoove the women to work together. It's 6-4 women, correct?
Yeah, they just got rid of two guys.
Yeah, it should be 6-4.
Drew, Bruce,
Jake. That's it, right? And then it's Kendra, Tora, Kelly, D, Julie,
Emily.
Yeah,
I mean,
listen. I mean, this is second level thinking, but
but my problem though is like, I don't know that I see a reality where like, are Kelly and Kendra going to work with D and Julie? I don't know that that's going to happen.
I think it's easy
because,
as hell.
Because Kelly's not going to
look at the guys that are left and listen. The two tribals didn't
Bruce around.
What'd you say?
Kelly wants Bruce around.
Kelly can still keep Bruce around and get rid of the other three.
Yeah, but as soon as you're in alliance with Kendra, now she's heavy pushing for Bruce. Like, do you know what I mean? That's all. That's your
but. And again, I think
what's the second level thinking?
I'm trying to forecast too much. I'm trying to get in the head of Austin tonight, who who didn't fight harder for the Caleb narrative is what I'm trying to get in, because
Could it be
I don't think the Women's Alliance
to
works.
his downfall
Also,
that
Drew
What?
and Austin are advantaged up to the gills.
they're not advantaged up to the gills. They have two. They have a skip with vote and one
two
and
and a
one
half
idol. Oh, and the fucking whatchamacallit. Yeah.
amulet?
But that's a problem. Sim. You're the biggest pioneer of this. The two of the women know of Austin's amulet.
That's true. That is true. You are correct.
Like this is I don't know if I could have a guy tonight voting in either one of those two camps and sat back and said, holy shit, we should be worried about a women's alliance. I don't know if I could have made that deduction. I don't. But
Before
I think it's clear as day that the women should do it now.
But I think that Katora is probably feels personally upset about how the women did not tell her about Bruce's idol. I think
She's
that,
going to hate Bruce at the end of the day. Anything
No,
that's
she's
Bruce.
also, she's gonna.
out.
But she was pissed.
that she hated.
she's looking at Reba right now in this tribal as a lifeline.
If the
away from
girls'
him.
alliance comes together and says the first vote we're going to do is Bruce from day one, how is Katura not on board with that?
It doesn't even have to look like a girls' alliance to get rid of Bruce, and she would be in on it.
Yes,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah. So you don't even need to like fully go into it, like label it. But
Listen, point blank. I
think it's in Emily's best interest to do that. I think
what girls'
to
alliance?
do all girls. Yes.
Yes.
I think it's in Emily. I think it's in Kendra's. I think it's
in
like
D and Julie's.
D and Julie. It's not in Kelly's best interest.
Maybe not in Kelly's best interest.
Wait, what? I don't think it's definitely not in Kelly's best interest.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
It's
Is it in D and Julie's best interest? Because
well, if they
Yes.
if they get to
If
orchestrate
they know the
how
power,
it
if they
goes.
know the true power that Austin and Drew yield right now, yes, 1,000,000%.
But also if they use it in a way they harness the hatred towards Bruce from Katora and from Kendra, and then they start weeding out the male Bello first, then they leave their options open with the guys of the female alliance. So if they say,
and they're gonna
female
fuel this on the
alliance-
back. They're gonna fuel this on the back of Jake voting for Julie too.
yeah, yes.
So, with that being said, that's 5 women. What is Kelly going to say at that point?
I think it's a fake. I don't think it's a real women's alliance though. I think maybe they use that as like some reasoning to get out like a Bruce and a Jake or whatever.
But guys,
It's
as simple as this. They're pissed at Jake because she voted for Julie. They all are pissed at Bruce. The only 2 guys that they're not necessarily pissed at are Drew and Austin at this point. And if they get a sniff of their power, they should be targeting them.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing is, I'm not I think if that were to happen, I think most likely you get out of Bruce, you get out of Jake, and I think once you get to that point, the women's alliance starts to schism. And
it's fine, but
someone says we're pulling Drew and Austin to our side, and whoever does that gets out those other.
But that's already D and Julie, so that means that it's in their best interest to play along. Is what I think Kale is trying to say. If that happens where they get rid of Bello males, then they're fine because now they have the most options open to them. Emily right now has nobody really truly, and I think that she has a closer.
That puts her in a good spot.
She's a free agent. Someone says, "Come on my team." She's like, "Yep, I'm in."
Which is exactly the edit that she's been talking about, and why, candidly, she'd be my second winner's pick at this point in time. But
options open. Keep it.
I guess the reason I even introduced this is that Austin, in particular, and I guess Drew really did want Bruce out, or kept talking about that narrative tonight too.
Yeah.
Which this doesn't really change the women's alliance because it would have been a male going home either way. But more so Austin. Like, I think he comes away from this episode tonight in worse position. Austin. Right?
Because of his conversation with D?
No, just because of this now potential women's alliance.
Oh, and because the target's on his back because people know.
And Caitlyn, and his argument that he tried to make to D was, in our estimation, valid, that Caleb probably made more sense to keep around. Like, I think Julie going home doesn't hurt Austin. I think it's more beneficial to Austin.
No, I think that's great for Austin.
Julie having gone home.
Yeah, because now D has no choice. Like, D's tightest ally is now Austin and Drew.
Who would Austin have gone for if not for Caleb?
Julie.
But not with D.
Again, you're right. He would have well, if he had ever been approached by, if he knew what was going on. Yeah.
Austin.
But they would have gone for Katurah, which I think is a better option for. Am I saying? Yeah, they would have gone for Katurah, which is, I think, a better option for. I think that's the best option for Austin.
Why do you think Caleb and Jake would have ever entertained that? I guess maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Caleb would have. Caleb would have gone for anybody but him.
I think he would have held to Jake.
I don't know if he would have believed Austin though.
Yeah.
Potentially. And like, as Austin, you don't have a good explanation, right? You can't say to Caleb like, "Well, we're gonna keep you around because you're a good shield." It's like, I don't.
I would have loved to hear that if I were him. I'd be like, that actually makes sense, you know?
Yeah,
because it does. I mean, we're saying it makes sense, right? Like, the only wrong thing that Austin can say to Caleb is like, "Hey, man, like I changed my mind. I want to work with you." Like that's the wrong way to go about this. That you can't really believe. For him to say something so blatantly self-interested, though, is like something that you could believe. You know?
I guess, for some reason I was thinking this whole time that you could convince Austin to go after Julie, but I actually don't think that's true. I don't know.
You
why
can't.
do that.
Yeah, you can't.
No,
I don't think he has any interest. He has no reason to go after Julie. He has a working relationship with Julie and D and Drew. Drew's on the other side. He doesn't.
But if I'm Austin, I do want somebody else to take out Julie for me. And
not now.
I didn't.
Yeah, not now.
No. I guess not now, but soon. I want D to be relying on me. I don't.
Yeah, that's fine, but I don't think now is the time to do that. I think you have a core 4 Reba. You just lost Sifu 2. There's only 4 of you guys left. The numbers don't split that way anyway, you know?
Here's one thing I will say. I think a women's alliance provides a bit more entertainment value because a women's alliance puts the majority at 6, but goes up against a 4 that has a ton of advantage power with idols galore. So if they are able to wield it, it's going to provide some nice entertainment value on our part. So,
I'd like some more entertainment.
Listen, I don't know. I just think, yeah, I think the big winners tonight are Kelly and D. I think Kelly and D are the big winners tonight. I think Emily fades, out of the limelight completely with Caleb gone now, which is not a bad position to be in. Now the argument comes down to I would like her to actually do something, unless she's sitting there with like a Bruce and a Kendra or some shit like that.
I don't want that.
No, none of us, I don't think, want that. That's kind of a Gabler situation, to be
but
honest.
I just don't know. I don't know. Like, if I'm Emily, and if I'm Emily, I'm like, I do need to do something. I want to, at least, to give myself a real shot. Like, but what can she do? Like, besides finding
the women's alliance.
But that doesn't do anything. I think that
for the record,
the women's alliance.
In this game, as far as moves you can point to, I think Emily has one of the biggest moves. It just so happens that it's not during this merge era, so it's tough to use it. But her convincing Caleb that they're going against him and switching the vote and blindsiding Sabaya, that was, I think, the biggest move of the game from a single person's decision. Yeah. I think that Emily has it in her, and that kind of came out of nowhere. So, if there's a move that needs to be made, I don't doubt that she'll be able to, kind of sniff it out.
I doubt that she can pull people.
She's just a one-person crew right now, which is tough. But she becomes more and more potent and valuable as the numbers dwindle. So I think
1,000,000%. That was what I was going to say. Is that I do agree that it's potentially in here. I don't see her doing anything for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
She has to lay low.
I think it happens if it does at 6 or 5.
Yeah.
But outside of that's what my point is, that outside of that, she needs to find an advantage, because quite honestly, I don't know what else she does to wield power, which I've always said that I just feel that something should be done to merit the win. And listen, in the Gabler example, it's horrendous. I mean, it was what that he wanted to target Ellie was, but at the end of the day,
that's enough.
Cassidy and Owen did less. So
Yeah.
it's like that didn't matter.
Well, look, she could get an advantage next week. I mean, they're bringing the auction.
Yeah, no, 100%. She absolutely could. Listen, I think the stock report comes down to Kelly and Dee's edits are fantastic. I don't know if I particularly have stock down, but I'm just going to give my 0%ers. Like I said, I was before. I think Bruce is a 0. I think Kendra is a 0. I think Katurah is a 0. And there's been really no edit merit at all to give Julie a victory right now. I mean, there's really been nothing there. So I'm going to give her a 0 at the moment.
For me as well. So, stock report. I agree with the Julie.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think she's played poorly, but she's
a
got no
sidekick
airtime
right now. Yeah,
I
she's
think
a
that's the
sidekick.
problem is you make it to the end and everyone just goes, she was just following D.
Yeah, it's not, and it's really like that's such a damning argument, because there's no
neuters anything that you want to say.
Yeah, D did that, you know.
Yeah.
Both the same people going up. My winner pick is still Kelly. Been saying it since I think week 1. I'm not sure, but Kelly.
Week 2, I think.
I think that she had good visibility. It was warranted. She won the challenge. She had political sway that she flexed in a way that was good. She's clearly able to put logic over emotions, because she's apparently Bruce's number 1 ally and hates him. So it's like, that's really like showing what is guiding her decision making. It's strategy and gameplay, and she's able to kind of, despite of her emotions, kind of get through that, which is, I think, valuable. I think that there was a little hint at something that I think I'll call out right now as my prediction. She said to the camera, even though we already said that it would be in her best interest to take Bruce as long as she can in the game, she said that when I do take out Bruce, that'll be my defining move. So she sort of has alluded to what this chessboard is going to look like when she makes her move. And she says that it's going to be when she takes Bruce out, that'll be her, her flag in the sand as, hey, look at this. This is what I did. I think that's something that could come into play.
And listen, that to that point, that could aid to our confusion earlier, and that the edit's just trying to paint the picture for us that
Bruce is the monster that she conquers at the end. Like taking him out.
I mean, listen, it's confusing because I actually from the edits made it seem that he's just a hooligan out there. So it's like I think the edit could be. I should take back what I was going to say. I'm saying that I think the edit could be a little bit better if that's actually going to be the case for Kelly.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. You're agreeing with me that that's like what she was saying, though, right? Like she's like, I am going to take Bruce out, and it's going to be a move.
Well, and when she was saying, exactly. That would agree with what she was saying. But again, the edit has painted him to be a hooligan. So who gives a shit when he gets voted out?
but he is
it's
an
no
obstacle.
Use Bruce. That's the slogan.
Regardless, he's still an obstacle. It seems he's being painted as an obstacle, something that needs to be gotten through. Like they're painting him as something that you need to work.
But Caleb literally said tonight. It's clear that Bruce is someone that only had spent 14 hours on the beach.
Yes. Verbatim.
That was said verbatim to the audience.
Yes.
So how much merit of a character does he actually have?
I think this is what you do if you're Kelly, right? If you vote him out and then you get to the final 3, the argument that you make is not, oh, I conquered big bad Bruce.
Yeah.
What you say is, I was the only one who could like deal with this buffoon for long enough to use him to my own ends. And then when I didn't need him anymore, I cut him loose.
Yeah, but you shouldn't cut him loose. You should take him. That should be
Well,
real.
no,
That should be
no.
the real. That should be the real logic.
That's what that actually is.
That's what we're saying, but I'm saying from her perspective, she's viewing the ultimate demise of Bruce at her own hands to be her winning move. So
Which
I'm saying
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I think candidly that if that
Could
is
be a-
how she's viewing it, that might not be the move,
might not be the
that-
winning move. All right.
and that might not. Yeah.
Meaning she'll make it and it won't give her the win. So we'll see. I mean, that's another way it can go. But basically, I would say that I think that Kelly is in a good spot in this game.
Yeah, I agree.
I like how she has influence over people. I think that she exhibited in this episode convincing somebody to make a move that was not in their best interest. I think Kendra actively worked against her own interests tonight, and I think it was because of Kelly. And somehow it's not getting back to Bruce at all that Kelly is even involved in these conversations about potentially voting Bruce out. So Kelly is doing no wrong right now. She's in a great position.
Do you agree with my 0%? The other borderline that may be at like a 10% that I potentially could have added in there was Jake. I'm curious because he has gotten an interesting at it. I'd say it's you know,
it's too soon to tell with him because they could be like he could have things on the horizon. It's clear he wants to make moves. He was willing to go to rocks tonight because he had what I believe to be a correct read on Austin. I think Austin would have folded like a cheap suit. I think if he said, I'm sticking by this, Austin would have folded first. I think he was right. They did a really cool thing where they like forecast
that was crazy,
tribal.
actually.
I love that. And they showed like real votes happening. I was like, that's kind of cool.
I
liked how they did that. That just reminded me of it. But that shows the kind of player that he is. He's like, I don't want to.
I agree. I
could.
couldn't put him at a 0%. But again, I think
We need a lot from him.
Kendra, Katura, Julie, Bruce. Are you in agreement or?
That's fine. It's hard to diagnose Bruce right now. I know that I personally would never vote for him.
He's not a 0% winner.
I'm just saying that he's such
There's
a wild
no
card.
chance in hell that he wins this game.
He just after Gabler, man, you don't know.
I understand that, but
I think we have the Gabler win.
He is not.
But who does he beat? Who does he beat?
The people
It's too early, but who does he beat?
I think he might beat a Julie.
So he has to be sitting next to Julie
Katura.
and Katura,
He's sitting next to
which
Julie and
would
Julie.
never happen. There was no iteration of that.
You
There's
can't-
no iteration of that.
I'm just saying, if you force me to say 3, I wouldn't say Bruce. I'm not saying he's gonna win by any means. Like, don't like hold this against me. I'm just saying it's very strange how we're reading him versus how people are reading him, and how people are also just
Fine.
doing what he's saying. Like, they don't want to get on his bad side. So like he has something going on. It's hard to diagnose.
I agree with.
I'm gonna make you say more next time around. But go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Caleb, always forcing everyone's hand. I agree with everything you guys have said. I disagree with nothing you guys have said. I have nothing else to add.
How pleasant.
I think. Look, I think Kelly, you're making me very jealous about your Kelly pick. I am sticking with my Drew because
I think that's fine. I don't think Drew came away as a loser.
I think he's doing a great job right now managing his threat level, which I appreciate because I think he realized he got a little too high at one point. So
let me just pose it this way: there was no reason for Drew to talk as much as he did tonight about the situation unfolding at that tribal.
No,
there was literally no reason for him to talk as much as he did.
I mean, they have established him, I think, edit wise, as a voice of.
Well, that only paints towards something more so of a winner.
Yeah, and I like him as my pick. Honestly, I'm happy that I'm sticking with him. One thing I will say is going back to somebody we lost tonight, Caleb. I want to see him play in another season so bad because he have one comment that he made tonight. Not just because I think he's a good player, but because of one comment he made tonight where he was like, I've learned today That it's not the number of connections.
Yes,
you make,
that was great.
And when I heard that, I was like, wow. I mean, like, I can't imagine all the lessons that he'll take to heart after this game. Like, I think if he played a second season, he'd play unbelievably.
I have no idea
really
what
cool
they're
to
doing.
watch.
It's wild to me because
This is a
I've
tangent
never
coming.
No. It's not a tangent. I'm just saying you've never seen before the new era the amount of casting commercials that they put during the episode. Like,
it makes me think that they're not getting enough applications.
No, it
Right?
makes me think like they're trying to be putting together seasons by finding new talent when there's so much talent right there for them to take. And
both
and
of
just-
which are problematic. Both those two comments you both said. So I have no idea why. And this is completely random, but we for
so
whatever
it is a tangent.
for whatever reason, Jay
Say
from
it.
Millennials and Gen X, who is routinely on the challenge now.
Yeah, which I've been watching.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Lovely. It's good.
it is good.
Podcast?
I wouldn't be opposed. He was on TikTok. He does TikTok things, and he came up randomly on me and Alicia, my fiance's TikTok, and
Shout out,
we
Alicia.
commented, "Would you ever go on Survivor again?" And he said, "Never ever," like with a mad.
Wait, he
mad
answered though.
tone.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like he was like you were chatting a bit.
Yeah.
Why?
He said never. I don't know. He didn't elaborate more.
Did they like blacklist him
I
because he
missed
went
it.
on the challenge?
But it's the same network. It's Paramount. Owns them both.
No, but he went
Owns
on when it
both
was
entities.
MTV.
No, it's MTV is owned by Paramount. It's been owned by Paramount
Huh.
for years.
Yeah, I mean Michelle has done the crossover, like a lot of people have, but
Well, Michelle's done endless seasons now of, but Michelle has much love for Survivor. I've seen that on Twitter. And
Yeah.
whatnot. So this is a weird tangent, but the only reason
It's a
in me
strange
saying this is something happening behind the scenes with Survivor where
It's hard for them
they won't
to
even
come back.
tie back anymore. There really hasn't even been there hasn't been tremendous talk in confessionals and whatnot, like in the past, saying, "Oh, I want to model my game off after Boston Rob," and is that am
I
I?
have been saying that way. I mean, season 41 and 42, I feel like I was still hearing a lot of that stuff.
well, there was a reference to Gabler tonight, but that's still within the new era.
I must have
Is that am I crazy in saying that?
No, I don't think you
Not
are.
a single person this season said, "I want to play like so and so."
I cannot comprehend how we have gone 5 seasons, and I don't think 46 is a returnee season. I cannot comprehend.
We're not getting a
We can't do this right now. This tangent.
It's
do
but
it.
I can't. Why? We don't have to solve this riddle. We don't have to solve this question right now. But I don't understand why there's no returnee season. It is some of the some of the best seasons known to man are returnee seasons.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's just crazy because like we talk and nothing you're saying is wrong. It's just like we say it all the time because it's so true. But at the same time, it's like what the like what are we gonna what are we gonna do? How are we gonna instill this change that we need to see in the world?
I'm so confused.
I think we kidnap and interrogate a producer of Survivor.
So
And
confused.
legally, that's a joke.
No, but but what would be interesting is like all these new era.
How excited would you be for fucking Christian to be on your screen again?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Dude,
all this new era mechanics can be broken down by people who have come and played before, and I mean Christian just happens to fall in that weird 37, where it's
Yeah, but
35
dive back
to
into that.
40.
They have
No,
not
but
done.
35 to 40 is going to be like the most forgotten group of Survivor players that we've ever had.
Because none of them were able to return.
That's what I'm saying.
Other
because
than
anyone who won in
Wendell,
those seasons,
right?
Anyone who won in those seasons for Winners at War,
Wendell
like Nick
and Adam
and Nick.
and Nick.
Oh yeah, Nick.
Wendell, Adam, and Nick.
Anyone else in between?
No. Chris Underwood didn't come back.
And
what's
Tommy
his face
didn't.
come back.
Tommy
Yeah, Tommy didn't come back. Both of which I've also played on the show.
on the challenge.
I don't
Okay,
know. Some
regardless.
weird's going on.
Simi, who's your winner pick? Drew, you said?
Yeah.
All right, Drew, Kelly, and Kale, you jumped on the bandwagon of who tonight?
D.
D.
Emily in my back pocket.
Okay.
It doesn't matter though if Kale's pick wins because he's been hopping around. He's got no.
No. As I made an evident point tonight to mark my territory. D.
Everywhere. Yeah, but like you'll only have D for like 4 weeks. Like it won't even matter. All right,
gentlemen.
Good week. Good 2 weeks, boys. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see if the Women's Alliance works out. Let's see what.
Yeah, it could be interesting, and I'm excited for the auction too. That's a little bit cool.
Yeah, very excited.
That'll be good, and they might introduce some new mechanics to make it a little bit less broken, because that's the reason why they got rid of it, right? Because like everyone knew to hold for the
They have to introduce new mechanics.
So we'll see how that goes, and I think I'm excited. That's a little bit of old.
There was nothing going on though. I think the last auction there was everybody had their money until no one spent their money.
That's what I'm saying. So now here we have a different thing that hopefully will be a taste of the
I'm
old.
sure there's something creative they could do. So
Yeah,
that should
definitely.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am also looking forward to it, and
Like and subscribe. You know, I don't really say that. Simi usually says that, but I'm feeling it tonight. I just want to say it.
I love that for you, Toast.
This is a fun episode. This is a fun episode.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
And download the episode, re-edit it, and re-upload it on your own YouTube channel. We'd love to see
and we'll subscribe to that.
and we'll give you a like back. It'll be
Quid pro quo.
tit for tat. And
Shout out to those that have continually interacted with us.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, GR, Kate Green, we love you guys. Also, next week we'll have useless Bruce t-shirts. Bruce has
no use.
No use.
T-shirts,
No use.
ready for purchase. So we'll see.
Copyright.
All right, boys. Peace.